Marshmallow Fanboy back with another review. This time I'm doing a Dungeons & Dragons mega unboxing. Now, the animated series came out right when the Golden Archives collection came out, and the cartoon characters got a live-action equivalent in the new movie, which was really cool. It'd be really neat to have those figures too, but I understand why they were focusing on the animated ones. I have, unlike the Golden Archives, which I don't have some of the bigger figures like the owlbear or the special owlbear that was like a GameStop exclusive, things like that. I have everything from the animated series. So I got this at Target. It was on sale. I wasn't going to collect them. I tried to stay away from them. And then Target was like, do you want this for like less than 20? And I said, yeah, I do, Target. Thank you very much. And that led me to the whole first wave, which went on sale at different times, but at my comic store, Diana went on sale for $15, so I picked her up. Hank and Bobby were already gone, and or maybe they just had a lot of Diana. I don't know that they sold, or maybe they just never went on sale. But Hank and Bobby I got later from either, it was probably Amazon. And that led me to the next wave, which was this. I got Sheila on Amazon by accident. She was on sale, but I didn't realize she was on sale from a seller that charged shipping. So I pretty much paid retail for her. She's the only figure I paid the full $25 for. And Eric and Presto I got at my local comic shop when they were doing their San Diego Comic-Con sale. And it was 20% off, so they were $20 each. Which still isn't super cheap as far as, sales go, but it was cheap enough to convince me to get it. I was already, those were the last two figures I needed, and man, I love the comic shop I go to. So I was pretty happy to get those, and I was happy to take advantage of the sale. So let's go through some of the packaging, because the packaging is really cool. Has the little beveled edges here, which are sort of the beveled edges of the dice, kind of. It's just a nice sort of feature that says, hey, this packaging, these are Dungeons & Dragons figures, so we're going to give you a package that sort of is reminiscent of a die. And of course, this one comes with a 10-sided and a 20-sided die. It's Venger and Dungeon Master. It's heavy. It's about 2 pounds, 2 or 3 pounds, I think. It'd be an expensive figure to ship somewhere. So if you're trying to get this thing on eBay and you're thinking, why is this thing expensive? It's probably because it's going to be real expensive for whoever it is selling them to ship it. Anyway, Dungeon Master, very small. He's 2.9 inches, which is scale with the rest of them. And Venger, of course, is 8.2 inches. He's huge. I love that they put the measurements in the back. I like that they're like, listen, these guys are 6 inches. Well, except for Bobby and Uni, I'm guessing. And if they're accurate, some of the characters might be a little taller, a little shorter. Like Hank might be a little bit taller. Presto might be a little bit shorter, and Bobby might be a little shorter than Presto. Since it looks like it comes with a diorama, a cartoon diorama in the back, which might render my Extreme Sets Dungeon set sort of null, void. No, I don't know. Anyway, it has, of course, it shows the dice. It shows sort of the blast effects that you could put on Venger's hand. I'm guessing that the effects are connected to the hands and not plugins to the hands. I'm not sure though, but we'll check that out when we open it up. As for the first wave, you got Hank with the bow, the energy bow, and he's got a 8-sided die, and it's got cool art on the side, in case you wanted to display it. Or this is cool if it's perfectly square. Here, you could probably cut that out, and you could probably display that. I don't know if the rest of them have kind of connecting cards. Let's check that out. Let's see if they have Let's see. So far, no. Let's see. That the dragon connects. Holy cow! They connect. Let's see if they connect to the rest of the figures. Let's see. Let's see. That's probably the edge of Presto. Whoop. See here. It's the edge of Presto. So which direction does it go? Does he bump up? Yes, he connects right to there. And then Sheila goes there. And then I'm guessing that Eric is... No, he's got the edge of Presto's effect. Oh, I see. The little energy thing is Eric, not Presto. So this makes a really cool... Just a really cool kind of a picture. And let me see if Venger and Dungeon Master kind of fit in anywhere. And I think that that's a match. I'm pretty sure that the arrow that kind of continues through, and then the dragon is here. That is super cool. You could cut that out. And you could maybe paste that to something, maybe mount it. I don't know. I bet one of you has already done something cool like that. Super cool. So let me show you just I can't wait to open these. So let's go through some of the let me push these back just a little bit, and we'll go through the backs of them maybe one at a time. Starting with Hank, who has, of course, Bobby and Diana on the back. Of course, it shows he comes with the bow. He comes with one that isn't, energized. One that's just normal that he can kind of carry. And, of course, the 8-sided die. And, see. And that flows right into Diana, who was one of my first figures. She's got the staff. She also has an effect where it looks like she's twirling the staff. Comes with a 20-sided die. 20-sided die, of course, the best die. I'm just saying that. Anyway. Bobby and Uni with his club and unicorn. Baby unicorn. Presto with a lot of stuff. He's got let me try to get rid of the glare there. He's got a little... I don't know if that's a hat or not. I'm not really sure what that is, but he's got some energy effects. And it looks like he's got, the hat, and you can put... Oh, I see. You can put this into the hat to make it look like there's energy coming from the hat. Or you can plug this in and make it look like there's things coming out of the hat. That's very cool. And it comes with a 4-sided die. Let's see. Of course, Eric. Eric comes with a shield and an energy effect for the shield. So the energy effect probably plugs in or snaps around it. And he comes with a 10-sided die. And last but not least is Sheila. Sheila comes with a 6-sided die. She comes with a regular cloak and a cloak that's already phasing. And she comes with a hood in case you want to deploy the hood, but you don't want that hood up at all times. So that is the Dungeons & Dragons animated figure series. And I'm going to open them up. Let's take a closer look at each one of them. Okay, now that they are all unboxed, man, let's go through them. I'm going to start with the sort of the Dungeon Master screen / background that came with Venger and Dungeon Master, because it's very cool. It's in the background, so I got to take it out carefully and not dump everything over. See if I can extract that. Okay, so the screen is a trifold, and it has, of course, the origin from the first episode. Of course, it's the origin that plays before the every episode, I think, where they all get into the car, and then they just end up in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. And of course, the second panel, just continuation of whatever that carnival might have looked like, and then, of course, the land of Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's what that's becoming, or maybe that's a carnival attraction also. But this thing is Really cool. On the other side, it's all the D&D logos, which is very cool. This thing is very heavy. It's substantial, like a regular Dungeon Master screen. But of course, it's not an actual Dungeon Master screen, but it's substantial, and it's heavy, and it's awesome. So let's go over the Dungeon Master. Dungeon Master's a little guy. He doesn't have any feet that move or anything, but that's great. He stands perfectly fine. The arms don't move except for in the shoulders. And his head... Oops, I don't know if you saw that. His arms move in the shoulders. And his head moves a little bit side to side, but not up and down or side to side. And his hands do move. He does have a wrist hinge, so you can get a little bit of motion out of his wrists. And his wrists rotate. So that is Dungeon Master. Let me see if he came with, in his package, he came with the 10-sided dice that have the actual kind of times 10 on them. So, 30, 70, that kind of stuff. It's kind of this nice kind of marble. It matches most of the other dice. There's no exception. They match the dice. I don't know if this is kind of a first edition of the dice, or if it has some special meaning. I'm not sure, but that is Dungeon Master, and I'm going to put him over here. Now next we're going to go to Sheila's brother Bobby in Uni. Uni doesn't move except for the head. The head has articulation and up and down, which is nice. He just looks really cool. I think in the cartoon, his eyes were more pink. I think I based that on watching 5 minutes of episode 1 right before I turned on this video. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've forgotten that, this guy has a great memory. No, I don't. I watched about 5. Okay, to be fair, I watched about 10 minutes. At the beginning, it has the carnival ride, and that's the intro song to the cartoon, and then it abruptly sort of cuts right back to right into a cartoon. Sort of, it doesn't go back over the origin. It's just sort of them trying to get out of that land, which I think was kind of the thrust of all of the adventures. So Bobby comes with a 12-sided die. I think it's 12-sided. Yes, it's 12-sided die. I'm going to put that here, a little bit visible. Of course, that matches with the Dungeon Master's die. I put figure stands at the bottom. I like these. I got these on Amazon. I'll try to remember to put a link to it below. But that was kind of the only way I could get him to stand halfway decent. So I'm going to take these off. Actually, that's not true. I didn't try to stand him. I gave up with one of the characters early, and I put the action figure stands on them, and then I just decided to struggle less. I would just put them on everybody. So the club, the one thing that I noticed from the cartoon, from watching 8 to 10 minutes of it, was that the club glows when he uses it. So there's a lot of doubles. Like Presto came with an effect for the hat, but he also came with an effect that looks like a magical effect. And Sheila came with a cloak and a phasing cloak. And Hank came with a bow and an actual activated bow. And Eric came with the shield and a way to put the energy around the shield. And Diane came with a bow staff, one that was in motion and one that was not. So I thought that just putting in one club and not maybe an effect that could go over the club or another club that was sort of phasing or transparent was a little bit chintzy. Here's the thing. Like, I love all the other aspects of the characters. I love how much planning and care went into them, and I love the sculpting. Some of them are a little bit, feel not substantial. Eric's legs feel very kind of brittle and very weak plasticky, but they look amazing. So I'm not complaining. I'm grateful to have these figures. I loved the cartoon as a kid. I did. It's just weird that Bobby is the only one who kind of doesn't have sort of an alternate version of his weapon. And everybody else has an alternate version. Even Venger has regular hands and hands that shoot the energy. So let's go over Bobby. Look down. Not bad. Look up is almost none because of the hair on his head. No side to side, maybe because of the hair. That's a pretty good wingspan on Bobby. Single elbow. Elbow swivel instead of a bicep swivel. Wrist swivel. Wrist hinge. Waist swivel. Ball jointed legs. Double knees. Boot swivel. Foot hinge. Ankle rocker. And that is Bobby, who actually stands up very well on his own. Let's move him aside. Okay, now let's take a closer look at Bobby's sister, Sheila. Bring her out. The action figure stands didn't go into her feet, so she's the only one I don't have it on, but she stands just fine without it. She comes with a 6-sided die, which matches the design of the other dies. The other dies. Is that correct? The other dice. That's more correct. The other dice in the wave. She comes with a cloak that is completely opaque. That is completely regular. And of course, on the figure, she is wearing the translucent, partially translucent cape for the effect that she's starting to disappear. The hood on can go on either cloak. The hood is a separate piece. So when it comes off, the hood just looks like this. And then Sheila's head looks like this. And then the clasp in the front, you can't get off of her head without taking the head off. Let's try out the articulation. Pretty good head up. A lot of head down. A lot of side to side for extra expressiveness. Wingspan is like that. I took the cloak off because it was messing with the articulation a little bit. Single elbow and elbow swivel. Wrist swivel. Wrist hinge. Just as a side note from taking the head off, there's actually kind of two joints in the neck. So you can kind of see it move side to side like that. There's one at the top of the post, and there's one kind of in the neck. Dumbbell joint at the waist. Ball joint legs. Thigh swivel at the top of the boot. Double knee. Foot hinge. Ankle rocker. Thought you can get a look at that head without it. There's of course this, and then this moves independently, so it's not just a kind of right at the end, and it's still. It gives her neck a little extension and makes the figure extra expressive. Now let's take a closer look at Eric, our Cavalier. I think that's what they called him in that first 8 minutes of episode 1. Eric is kind of our hot-tempered character. Every show needs one. He comes with the shield, which is very cool. Take that off. And comes with the cape, which is removable if you take the head off, which I'm not going to do right now. But the shield comes complete together. The energy effect is kind of rubberized. You can take that off easily. But I don't know what your chances are of getting it back on. It's probably pretty easy, but I'm going to err on the side of and just not take the energy field around it. Has the cool logo right from the cartoon, and it came with a came with a 10-sided die that is a little bit different from the Dungeon Master's in that while his says 1 through 10, the Dungeon Master's is multiplied by 10. So everything on Eric's is 1 through 10, and everything on the Dungeon Master's is a factor of 10. It has that great color scheme right from the cartoon. Yellow, red, orange with the armor. Looked really cool on the cartoon when I was a kid. Looks really cool in person now. A lot of fun. The cape, pretty standard, but very accurate to the cartoon. And even the little cowlick on the top of the head is everything, man. It's just that attention to detail, man. It's just in this one little place, but it's so cool. Like, boom, little cowlick for Eric. So let's take off his action figure stand and get a better look at his articulation. Some okay look up. I think that's more neutral than looking up. No, I'm wrong. That's neutral. So a little bit of looking up, a lot of looking down. Side to side is excellent. It's a decent wingspan. I wish he got back a little bit further, but he's carrying a shield, so you don't really need to swing a sword or anything. You don't need to get back as far. Elbow swivel, wrist swivel, wrist hinge, mid-torso rocker at the waist, ball jointed legs, single jointed knee, ankle hinge, ankle rocker, and that is Eric, our Cavalier. Now let's take a closer look at Diana. I put the bow staff that twirls in her hand, but she comes with another bow staff that has no motion to it. It's just as cool. I just wanted the one in her hand that had the motion, because I thought that looked cooler. She also comes with the 20-sided die, in which the number 20 is the number 20. And that's important because on Vengers, the number 20 is actually the Dungeons & Dragons logo. So it's very cool and matches with the aesthetic of the rest of the dice that we've gotten so far. So let's take the bow staff out and take a closer look at her. Diana has great sculpting. Gold and the orange. I don't know if the gold is bronze or the bronze is on the gold or what that is. And I don't remember if the tiara had kind of a special thing or she could do anything with it or it fired a laser or anything. But the bow staff was definitely cool. It's kind of like a lightsaber bow staff. That's kind of how it looked like in the first 8 minutes of the first episode. I'm not actually sure that any of the things I said was just true. So let's take a closer look at the articulation for Diana. There's no head up. I'm not sure. Yeah, the hair completely blocks it. Good look down. A little bit of side to side, but not much. Good wingspan. Single elbow. Elbow swivel. Wrist swivel. Wrist hinge. Mid-torso rocker. Ball jointed legs. Double knees. Boot swivel. Foot hinge. Ankle rocker. That is Diana. So let's put her aside and let's take a closer look at Hank. Here is Hank in all of his glory, and he comes with the 8-sided die, which has the same pattern as the other dice. And he comes with a regular bow that isn't activated with the energy, which is very cool. So let's take the energy bow out of his hand and take a closer look at it. This is the energy bow. It's a slightly see-through. You can't really see right through it, but it's got that sort of kind of transparent plastic that gives it kind of an energy feel, an energy effect. And of course the handle is right down here. he puts his hand right here, and it looks like he's drawing back on it. So let's put that aside and take a closer look at Hank. Looks just like Hank. Cool 80s hairstyle, or 70s. I can't remember when the cartoon came out. If it's 40, then it was the 80s, I think. I think this is for Dungeons & Dragons 40th anniversary. I'm not absolutely sure, but there's a 40 on the packaging, so I wasn't sure. But it didn't say 40th. So I'm a little lost on what the 40 means. But he's got the tunic with the studs. All of these silver things are raised up. So they're molded on. They're not painted on. That's a really nice touch. He just looks really good. Looks really accurate to the cartoon. He just looks like a standard paladin with the color scheme and everything. So let's take a closer look at his articulation. No head up because he's got the hair. Really good hair down. Again, his head has two joints. Has a joint, maybe it moves the neck, I think, at the base of the neck that hooks to the torso. I think that's jointed. Side to side, oh my gosh. He's got a little on this side and then 0 on the other side. Really good wingspan. To get his arms up there, I had to raise them this way. And what I usually do is I usually point them toward the camera and then I spread them out like this. But his tunic gets in the way. And so the only way to kind of split that is to get him to raise his arms into that crevice. Single elbow. Elbow swivel. Wrist swivel. Wrist hinge for Hank. Here he is playing an invisible guitar. Waist rocker. Ball jointed legs. Double knee. Boot swivel. Ankle hinge. Ankle rocker. And that is our paladin Hank. And now, boof! Cue mystical effects that go Presto. I have him posed with his hat with the energy effect coming out, but he's got a lot of stuff going on. Presto is probably the most involved Dungeons & Dragons figure that we've gotten in the line. He comes with, in addition to this effect, which I'm going to take out of the hat, snaps right out. It kind of, if you look inside, he's got a kind of a joint in there where you plug that in. And he's got another effect that you can plug in to the hat that is kind of the same as the other effect because it does sort of pop out of the top a little bit. But this one has a part that you can attach to his wrist. So it looks like he's wielding the magic, like it's curdling into his hand. And that's a really cool effect. But also, the hat has sort of a third use because it does come with an extra hair piece for him. Plugged in, it looks like that. And we're just going to take his hair off and put on the new hair. Ah, he tore my head off. I look like I should be on Lock and Key. It's a Netflix show. It's pretty good. It goes right inside some guy's head and puts stuff in there. There he is with the hair piece and the hat attached to the hair piece. It's very cool. So you could do 3 things with the hat. He can either wear it through an alternate hair piece with a kind of an extension in it that he can trade out. He can have a little energy effect coming out of the hat, or he can have a full-on energy coming out of the hat. Of course, it comes with the less important kind of 4-sided die, which is cool, but not as cool as the hat and all the things the hat can do. The hat is definitely the most interesting accessory in this set. Super cool. So let's go through the articulation. Very good head up. Terrific head down. No real side to side. I do like that the glasses are molded on. because they're just perfect on him no matter what position he's in. Very good wingspan. Single elbow. Elbow swivel. Wrist swivel. Wrist hinge. Waist swivel. Ball jointed legs. Single jointed knees, which makes sense. There's not a lot of space to flex with the robe in the way. Knee swivel. Foot hinge. And ankle rocker. And Presto. That is Presto. I'm sorry, I had to do that. That was super dumb. I acknowledge that. Can we move on? Okay. Poof! It's Venger. Venger comes with the biggest 20-sided die. By comparison, I'm going to show you Diana's 20-sided die for a side-by-side. I imagine the size is more to sort of suggest that Venger's just a big bad, and a big bad should have the biggest die in the set, and he does. This die Avengers is bigger than any other one. Of course, it has the Dungeons and Dragons logo instead of the 20 on there. It's super cool. He also came with the open sort of menacing grip as well as this fist, and those came in, or they came on the package on the figure. I replaced one of these blasts, and then one of these blasts is just here. Let me see if the effect unplugs from the hand. It doesn't. I tried to sort of wiggle it back and forth, and it doesn't. I'm sure with enough force, it's just a post and a hand, and they probably glued it. And it's probably, you could probably take it out. But I am not going to do either of those things. I'm just going to put these aside. Venger, of course, towers over the regular figures, like Hank and Diana. Diana, who's it looks like the same size as Hank, maybe a little shorter. And then, of course, if I put Bobby in here, right there, Venger, much larger than Bobby. The figure is stunning in its height. The figure and the wings came separate. The wings are molded this size so they don't move, but they look absolutely imposing. They're enormous. They're at least one action figure's worth of plastic. They're just really cool. The expression on his face is evil, but he's looking like McFarlane figure, just a little bit off camera. He's like, I'm looking over there. Please aim me over there. But the colors, everything just faithful to the cartoon. This guy menaced our heroes all throughout the series. And now he gets the menace kind of from behind on the toy shelf. Because if he menaced from the front, you wouldn't see any of your figures. And that'd be a shame. So let's go through him. The head is a great big no for articulation. You can move it sort of left and right. And that's about it. But the plastic sort of rubs, the plastic that's around his head sort of rubs with everything else and doesn't allow it much turn radius. And also, it doesn't seem like there's anything in the neck that would allow it to raise or lower or go side to side. Nice wingspan. And of course, just like Hank, I did the Vitruvian Man thing and had the arms raised this way. But that's really nice. And the bright red beneath the robe piece. It's very cool. And of course, kind of a darker red below here that kind of matches the dark red on here and on the neck piece. Single elbow, elbow swivel, wrist swivel, wrist hinge, mid-torso rocker, below the sternum, I think, ball jointed legs, thigh swivel. Of course, that thigh looks like it's almost ready to fall off. Single knee. I stand corrected. That is a double knee. Foot hinge. And ankle rocker. And that is it for the Dungeons & Dragons animated series mega unboxing. I got all of them. I got all of them and I reviewed all of them in one video. I am so sorry. I know that you're going, he could have done that really. I didn't need the articulation. I get it. They all swivel at the elbows. They're not Marvel Legends figures. It's weird. You can stop talking now. But I got through it. And you got through it too. So I don't know who's crazier, me for doing this for so long with all of the figures, or for you for watching. So leave it in the comment below if you stuck around and you want to go, man, I'm crazy about these figures, like you are crazy about these figures. And until next time, oh man, enjoy your toys.